You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips Podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today, Jeff Bajorek is back, and I guess you're just going to have to listen to this to understand how his suggestion to mow your own lawn is actually a sales tip.
I've got an off-the-wall tip for you today. I want you to mow your own lawn. Yeah, I know. The last time you heard from me, I was telling you about doing the stuff that moves the needle in your business, and are you making enough time for enough of the right activities so you can really make an impact and deliver the results and the outcomes that you need to deliver, that people are counting on you for. If you're watching the video, you may notice that I recorded that tip about 10 minutes ago too. So no, I'm not crazy. No, I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm going to remind you that you are probably not making enough time to do the most important thing that you can possibly do, and that is to think. And sometimes I get my best thinking done when I'm cutting my own grass, when I'm pushing my own mower. Of course, I haven't found anybody who can do as good of a job of it as I do, so I take pride in my home and the results that I get and the satisfaction that I get when I see a job well done, okay? But it's that thing that has to get done, so it finds a spot on my calendar. I fit it in when I can, and while I'm pushing that mower, I get an opportunity to listen to a podcast, listen to a book, maybe just listen to some music, but regardless of what's in my headphones at the time, I get a chance to think. My wife laughs at me because she sees me talking to myself sometimes while I'm cutting the grass. I'm working through deals. I'm working through talks. This is idle time for my mind, yet I'm still active in getting something accomplished, which helps me hedge that line in the most beautiful way. But I feel like I'm doing something important while really allowing my brain to do what it does best. So hey, maybe you don't have a lawn to cut. Maybe you don't have a dog to walk. But what I want you to do is find something that is idle, where you let your brain express itself. If that means that you sit and meditate for 30 minutes a day or 30 minutes a week, I mean, it takes me less than an hour to cut my lawn on a weekly basis. Find that time, carve out that time to think. When you do that, everything else gets straightened out. Everything else becomes more clear. And you will be so much better off when you realize that thinking moves the needle more than anything else, instead of just dismissing it as you may have been until this point. Think and you'll grow.
Now, if you're like me, because Jeff sent me this tip a little while ago, you won't be able to mow your lawn without thinking about Jeff and this podcast. Better yet, maybe you'll be listening to this podcast while mowing your lawn. If that happens, you have to send Jeff and I a picture. But as Jeff said, it doesn't have to be mowing. Ironically, I was listening to an interview on NPR earlier this week with the author of a book called Rest. And one of the things he was talking about was the correlation between walking and great ideas. And that caused me to take a look at the book, and one of the reviews in particular was super detailed and included this line: walking doesn't look like an intellectual activity, and there are plenty of times when it's purely utilitarian or recreational, but we can learn to use it to help us think better. So with that, let me ask you this. When do you do your best thinking? Join the conversation at dailysales.tips/138, where you'll find links to all things Jeff Bajorek, including the video of this tip, the transcript, and your opportunity to join the listener list if you haven't already. Thanks for listening, and come back tomorrow for another great sales tip.